Hi there, the Lollipop Man is back, and now we're going to talk about the Bahrain Grand Prix race review. So the race, as you would have seen, I hope, was a very good race actually. It was above par according to me. It had some really exciting spots. As far as I'm concerned, and this race actually Sebastian Vettel won the race, and it's their second win of the season, and Sebastian Vettel takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship with this race win. So let us just get straight into the race. Just me and my guitar. So looking into the race, the Bahrain Grand Prix, it was a very interesting race right from the start up to the finish. So, and as I told you, Ferrari had got the very important win. I think they deserved it based on strategy as well as on pace. So Sebastian Vettel gets the win. Second and third were the two Mercedes of Hamilton, followed by Valtteri Bottas. Fourth was Kimi Raikkonen, again in the second Ferrari, and he again missed out on a podium. He just doesn't seem to have the right setup, or maybe the grip issues, whatever they hamper him from getting a podium. Fifth was Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, a strong drive I can say, Red Bull. Sixth was Felipe Massa in the Williams, another strong drive, especially at the start of the race. Seventh was Sergio Perez. Eighth was Romain Grosjean in the Haas. I didn't expect him over there, especially you can watch my predictions. So I did not expect Romain Grosjean to be there. Ninth was Nico Hülkenberg. Consistent, I can say that's a very good word to describe Nico Hülkenberg right now. And 10th, rounding out the points, was Esteban Ocon in the second Force India. Force India getting double points, and I am really happy for them. They had a good turnover from the practice sessions leading on. Actually, even the qualifying, they were not strong enough. So, very good turnaround for Force India. 11th was Pascal Wehrlein in the Sauber, and I have to give credit to him for a very, very brave drive. And right after his fitness issues, and he's coming back, what a good return. And you can't have a better return actually. Even for a small team like Sauber to come really close to the points and just one place, so was a very heroic drive according to me for Pascal Wehrlein. 12th was Daniel Kvyat, had a bad start along with Jolyon Palmer. Both of them were in the top 10, but really bad start and couldn't help it. They were fighting for P12 along with Fernando Alonso. He retired his car on the second last lap, so he's still classified, but they had a really ding-dong battle actually. Daniel Kvyat, Jolyon Palmer and Alonso, they had a ding-dong battle for about 3 to 4 laps straight, and Alonso was winning in the corners, whereas Jolyon Palmer and Daniel Kvyat just breezed past Fernando Alonso in the Renault engines. So let's talk about the DNFers, as you can say. We first have to talk about DNS, that is, did not start. Stoffel Vandoorne, woeful weekend, had power unit issues right from the practice, and good enough, no problems in the qualifying, but then in the race did not start. Again, power unit issues. I don't know what McLaren Honda are going to do, but they need to really crunch it out right now, because, and I hope this test in Bahrain that's starting on Tuesday, it's going to help them. Maybe they have to turn their, what do you say, yeah, they have to turn it around somehow. I'm not sure, but they have to. Then another retirement was Kevin Magnussen on lap 8 in the second Haas. So Haas having up and down weekend, as you can see. Romain Grosjean in the points, Magnussen retired in lap 8. Talking about Max Verstappen, lap 11, he came into the pits for a pit stop on the he went on to the super soft tires. He went out. It was going really well actually for the Red Bulls. But then on the same lap, turn 4, what do you see? Just loses his brakes, and he goes straight into the barrier, right across the gravel. So very strange, and he was not happy. Max Verstappen was really not happy with that failure. So a little bit of bickering on the radio. So I hope he does well in the next race, and he's a very good driver. Talking about Carlos Sainz and Lance Stroll, they had a very strange contact, I can say. It's not supposed to happen, but it happened. So what happened was Lance Stroll was just going through on lap 12, going towards turn 1, and Carlos Sainz coming out of the pits, getting a pit stop, and he went on to the soft tires, I guess. So he just went out and he just hit him in the side pod. The side pod just got damaged, and I think there was a left front suspension failure for Sainz because of the contact. So both of them retired on the same lap, which brought out the safety car. So a big crash that was. Talking about Marcus Ericsson also, who retired. So Marcus Ericsson has a point to prove in the next race weekend, as his teammate has got a really good drive and moved up to P11. So let's look at some really interesting highlights of the race. Okay. So let's talk about the highlights of the Bahrain Grand Prix first. Looking at the start, the 19-car grid, which was missing Stoffel Vandoorne as he had power unit failure, he did not start the race. So within those 19 cars, I think the winners for the start for me were Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez, and Felipe Massa, as well as Pascal Wehrlein. Not to forget the race winner, Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel had an electric start from the block, and he split the two Mercedes by the time they reached turn 1. Lewis Hamilton, not a good start for him, as well as Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi Raikkonen fell behind two cars, that I think it was Daniel Ricciardo as well as Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa had a really good starting stint. I think the first stint for him was electric for me, and he was able to keep Kimi Raikkonen at bay. He was getting superb drive out of the corners. So really good job on that for Williams. Also, let's talk about lap 10. It's a crucial lap because at that time Sebastian Vettel was really trying to overtake Bottas but could not, for some or the other reason, I don't know. So I think that was a very good undercut call for Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari. They came in at lap 10, and Sebastian Vettel put on the super soft tires, and he went out and smashed the fastest lap on lap 11, and he was going pretty well on lap 12 when the incident happened between Lance Stroll as well as Carlos Sainz Jr. at turn 1. It was a heavy crash, as I talked about in the race results. So that brought the safety car out. Interesting scenario coming up. Safety car comes out. Bottas and Lewis Hamilton both were close, very close enough, and behind him was Daniel Ricciardo, right behind him. So what happened was Mercedes tried to double stack, and because of that, what happened was Lewis Hamilton, he backed off a little in the pit lane itself, so hampering a bit to Daniel Ricciardo. So I think he got a 5-second time penalty for that. It was good enough. I think it was not harsh. He should not have backed up that much. Also, what compounded problems for Mercedes was the pit stops itself. About 6.2 to 6.5 second pit stops because of the gas that didn't come out of the refueling, or not the refueling, I think the wheel guns. They were quite slow, so that was not a good stop for both the Mercedes, and by the time they came out of the pit lane, look who was there in front of them, Sebastian Vettel. So it was a very good scenario for Ferrari. Somehow I don't know how it happened, but because of those slow stops as well as the backing off, double stack and all that, Ferrari stood in the first position, followed by the two Mercs. So at the time of the safety car, when the safety car was deployed, I think Ferrari were too scared. I think they would have really lost position 1 and 2 as well to both the Mercs, because they would have easily double stacked and gone out. But the slow pit stops really helped them, and Sebastian Vettel, from there on, whenever the race restarted on lap 14 or 15, I think, he just blitzed past, and he got about 5 to 6 seconds of advantage over Valtteri Bottas. He was not able to keep up with Sebastian Vettel, Valtteri Bottas. He was complaining of about a bad rear setup, so he was having an oversteer setup, I think. So he was not that fast. He was slower than Lewis Hamilton, who was on the softer tire, on the harder tire compared to him. Valtteri Bottas on the super softs and Lewis Hamilton on the soft tire. So Mercedes had to step in, give team orders, and Lewis Hamilton swapped positions with Valtteri Bottas and went on with his chase of Sebastian Vettel. So in that restart phase, it was a really crucial time, and I think Sebastian Vettel did a very good job getting about the 5 to 6 seconds advantage that he got. Also, looking at another interesting battle that went on for P12, I guess, Daniel Kvyat and Julian Palmer as well as Fernando Alonso. These three were really battling it out for about 3 to 4 laps straight, and in the corners you could see the experience of Alonso, where he was overtaking both the cars, not one. So that was good racing from Fernando Alonso, and during the straights you could see that he also was complaining with the Honda engine that both the cars of Daniel Kvyat as well as Julian Palmer were about 300 meters away from him, and by the time they reached the ending of the straight, it was very funny. They overtook him, so he was really not feeling good in the Honda engine. He retired on the second last lap of the race. He was still classified, but then they don't know the reason. He just kept on saying the problem was the power unit, but there was no conclusion given on this. And I think that's the characteristic of Fernando Alonso, that whenever he feels that he's having a chance to get a point, he completes the race. But that's, I think, a philosophy of Fernando Alonso. So he felt that he was not going to get points, so he just came in saying power failure and came in and retired the car. So all in all, talking about the Bahrain Grand Prix, very interesting race, and lot of overtakes seen. So the talks of the pre-season saying that we might not see close racing and overtakes are, I think, going away now. It was a it was a race that was not having influential weather conditions, but still there was a lot of overtaking as well as close racing. So to 2017, looking a really good season, and looking at the Drivers' Championship, Sebastian Vettel takes the lead, and I think this is going to be a very interesting Drivers' Championship where both the drivers, I think, of Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton, the battle will go on. So please stay tuned for the coming races. Feeling pretty stoked. We've reached the 50 subscriber mark, and I'm feeling really grateful for that. So thank you for all your support and the comments and the likes that I've got. So please do like and subscribe for the coming videos as well as this video, and I will see you in the next race weekend. See you, bye.